Okay, so I'm getting ready to install DitraHeat heating system, floor heat system, but pretty much they're all more or less the same. Okay, so I'm getting ready to install my membrane on the main floor. Actually got two rolls. This is a DitraHeat. So before you do anything on plywood, you want to make sure you sweep it and get all the debris off it. Then you're going to vacuum it. And then just before spreading your mortar, you're going to damp sponge it. I'll show you that in a minute. Very important. I got all the DitraHeat membrane cut in. It's all cut in. So between sheets, you want to butt them tight. At the wall, you want to leave a little gap, like a 1/4 inch or so. Make sure it's not tight. Now this is moving around a little bit because it's not cemented down, it's all loose. But you want to make sure that you leave a gap all the way around because this is going to be heated. Where the wire is going to run through, you want to make sure you get the pucks to line up so that when you run your wire, you don't have to like try and snake it. It'll just run straight across. Where you are not going to have wire, like over here, it doesn't matter if they line up or not. So I am ready to cement this down. So I'm going to be using a modified mortar to cement this DitraHeat membrane to the plywood. Now there are 3 different types of modified mortar, the ANSI standards, if you will. So 2 of them work perfectly fine with installing products on plywood. 1 of them is not. It is a guaranteed failure. So make sure when you're looking for your mortar to install your membrane or whatever to a plywood subfloor that you use either ANSI A118.11 or ANSI A118.15. If you have a bag of mortar that's ANSI A118.4, that is not rated for plywood and it is a guaranteed failure. So just be careful what you do, because a lot of people know modified, unmodified, but there are different kinds of modified mortars. Another thing, if you've got long runs, like this is like over 10 feet over here, this way, when you put your membrane down, make it so that you can roll it this way like this. Because if you try, if it's under the cabinet there and you have to roll it the other way, you're not going to be able to because of the, because it goes under. So just a little tip there. Sometimes you can't avoid it for whatever reason, but if you can avoid it, do it that way so you don't have to struggle trying to put it back in. Okay, so to install this DitraHeat membrane, I'm going to be using Schluter All Set and Schluter All Set. And just to demonstrate what kind of mortar it is, see, this is an ANSI A118.15T. T stands for Thixotropic. But if it meets this standard, then it also meets this standard and this standard. So this standard and this standard are good for plywood. This one here is not. You can use this on cement board, you can use it on concrete, you can use it on even foam board if you want. But if you're going to install something to plywood, you need to use one of these. This is a lower standard, this is a higher standard. So by standard, it's, shear strength and all that kind of stuff. So, bond strength, shear strength. and tensile strength, etc., etc. So this is either this one or this one, and the offset is an A118.15 mortar. I'm going to be using a Schluter Ditra Heat or Ditra XL trowel. It's actually just a 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch square notch trowel. And when you're mixing thin set, you always want to control your dust. This is a whale tail. This will suck as I drop the mortar into the bucket. This will suck the dust up into the vacuum. So you want to control your dust if you're mixing inside. So if this is the first time that you've seen my videos, my name's Sal de Blasi. I've been a tile contractor for 40 years, pretty much done everything you can do with tile. And I would like to make videos that are instructional and show you how to do things the proper way according to TCNA and manufacturer's instructions. So if you find anything useful or you like the content, please subscribe, leave a like, and also leave a comment. I'll try and answer it. Thanks for watching. Okay, so I got my mortar mixed, and while that's slaking, which is actually very important, always mix your mortar according to the directions on the bag. So this is all set. You mix it for membranes. You mix it from 7.5 to 8.5 quarts of water, and then you mix it for 5 minutes. You let it slake for 10 minutes, and then you remix it for 3 minutes. So, and actually you'll see it as in the bucket after it's slaked. It starts to firm up, and then you remix it, and it gets loose again to the right consistency. Right now it's kind of really loose. But after it slakes, it starts to firm up. Then when you remix it the second time, it becomes the correct consistency for the membrane. So very important to mix your mortars according to directions. So in the meantime, instead of waiting around for 10 minutes doing nothing, I am going to roll back my membrane and start dampening the plywood and getting ready to set spread my mortar and put down my membrane. And this will remove any residual dust of the plywood or shrink, so that it doesn't suck the thin set out of the moisture out of the thin set. So first, use the flat side of the trowel to key in the water. And then we used the notch side of the trowel to gauge out our mortar. Got my mortar spread. Make sure I'm where it needs to be. Camera coverage is good. Very good. So I'm going to do the same for the rest of this. Okay, so got all the Dietrich heat down. Then I need to get down over here. I've got it all installed up to where I need it. There's no heat in here, so but we need the same membrane to keep everything the same height. The heat is just in that area there. So okay, so I'm getting ready to install the wire on the floor. This is a Dietrich heat heating system, floor heat system, but pretty much they're all more or less the same. So in this system, you have 3 components: the thermostat, the wire, and the mat. So this comes with instructions and a warranty card, and you need to test this 3 times while you install it. So first time you test it is when you take it out of the box. Second time you test it is when you put it in the mat. And third time you test it is after you've installed the tile. So this is the 240 volts. And I'm going to put this in the 2-3 configuration. You're going to find this wire in the wire box. So we have 2 central wires. We have the directions. And I can put this aside. Wall connections here. This has to be done by a licensed electrician. There are 3 versions of this. This is the touchscreen. There's a standard one. And then they also have a Wi-Fi version. There's a label on here, and it tells you the ohms that we need to test for, and it has to be within 10% of this number. We're going to test that in a second. What we need to fill out. Got the number here and put it over here. Factory value is 17.7 ohms, and I put that there. I'm going to test the wire 3 times. Once when we take it out of the box, once after we get it in the mat here, over here, the 3rd time after the tile's installed. So let's test this right now and see what the ohms are. If it matches this, it has to be within 10% of. So I got the alligator clips connected to the wires, one to one side, one to the other. Use alligator clips if you can, it makes your life a lot easier. So I'm going to put this at 200 ohms. And it's 17.9, 17.8. That's within 10% of the factory value of 17.7. 17.8. Conductor resistance test. Now we're going to do the conductor and ground. I'm going to set this to the alarm. It's going to make a sound if you touch these together. We're going to put one wire on one lead. We're going to put the other on the ground wire. So that should say I or OL. It says I. And it actually tells you right here, I or O, infinity or overload. That test is a pass also. So I'm going to put I. 2 tests are the only 2 required tests. This one here is you need a mega ohm meter to do this test. It's not actually required, but you get extra warranty if you do it. So this is the mega ohm meter. Once again, alligator clips. So you're going to put one of the alligator clips on the lead, and you're going to put the other one on the ground wire. I'm going to set these to 1,000 volts. You want it to go over 1,000. The mega ohm meter test is good. So that sends 1,000 volts through the wires, so you don't want to touch them as it's discharging. So it says it right here, equal to or greater than 1 gigaohm, and it passed that. So those tests are done. These are sensors, so it measures the temperature. So if you kept one in the truck and one was in the house, they're going to be different temperatures. They're going to have different readings. Now these have been sitting here for over an hour, so they should be more or less at the same temperature. Temperature in here is about 70 degrees. So once again, connect one to one side, one to the other. So you got some temperature ranges here. We're between this range is 68 and 77, so it should be somewhere between 12 and 10. I'm gonna put this on 20K, and we're at 11.8. That's about right. Test the other one, and that's about the same. Okay, so I recorded all those values. The testing is done for now. We can put the wire in the mat, and then we'll test it again. This is the cold lead. This part here, this black part, and that there, this here is the cold splice. This has to be buried in under the tile in the thin set, and this is the wire that goes in the mat, and this is the wire that goes up the wall. As you can see, I have marked out where the area of my wire is going to be. So the rule is you have to stay 3 inches away from a wall, at least. I'm staying 6 inches away. I'll tell you why in a second. Here I'm getting a little closer because when you get in and out of the tub, you want it to be nice and warm. Over here there's a vanity. You can't put wire under a fixed object where there's no airflow. If you have a vent, see there's a vent up there. If that was on the floor, let's just say this square right here was your vent in the floor, then you would stay 8 inches away all the way around from that. You have to be a distance of 8 inches away. If you had a radiator along that wall, you would stay 8 inches away from that. The reason why I leave the 6 inches, just in case you're running long on the wire, that gives you another run all the way around that you can do to eat up that wire. So this is the cold splice, the cold to the hot. This has to be buried under the tile. This goes up the wall. All the rest of this goes under the tile. So I snaked the wire up through the conduit. And I'm going to do 2-3 spacing. So push the wire in. You can either use your fingers, like that, but use something plastic. It could be a rubber float, it could be a wood trowel, it could be a plastic trowel, and just push it in. 2-3 spacing. 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. You can do 3-3 if you want, or you can do 3-2. You can't do 2-2-2, and you definitely can't do 1-2, and absolutely not 1-1. The wire will overheat. So it's either 3-2 spacing or 3-3 spacing. In the book, it'll have the square footage that'll cover for each wire, what the square footage it will cover in each configuration. So if you make a mistake, just pull it right up and redo it. Okay, so the wire's all in, and I covered the area I needed to cover, so it worked out very well. So it's all 3, 2, 3, 2, and you can change directions. So see this spacing here? See, this is 2, and there's still 3. So you can change directions. You don't have to keep it going in the same direction. So in the sensor wires, one here, but it has to be at least a foot in. So both of them are in, and but you're only going to connect one. You snaked it through the wall. The wire and the sensors, they actually can all go through the same conduit. They don't have to be separated. So now I'm going to do the second test exactly the same way as I did the first test. On there. And on there. 18.3. So that's still within the 10%. So do the other test. one on the lead, one on the ground wire, and that's it for the sensors. 12.51, the other sensor 12.49, so we'll just call it 12.5, both of them. So that's good too. So the remaining test is a mega ohm meter test. One on the cable, one on the ground, 1000, test. Okay, so the second test is, the set of tests is done. Now I can install the tile, and then we'll test it for the third and last time once the floor tile is completely finished.